Welcome, everyone, to this episode of Unavoidable Adventures in Aging, where Sue and Shan, two Midwest, well-past middle-aged sisters, discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly of aging. With a little humor, a little heart, and occasionally a little frustration, we'll explore the unavoidable adventures we experience as we move into our golden years. Yeah, golden years, my ass. Just a note to our listeners, this podcast reflects the opinions and experiences of Sue and Shan. The main purpose of this podcast is intended to entertain.
And we're going.
Very good. Welcome to this week's podcast of, because we never say the name of our podcast.
We don't.
Unavoidable Adventures in Aging. So here we go.
With Sue and Shan.
With Sue and Shan. And we are finding that everything that's going on today does relate to getting older.
Yep.
And what we're going to talk about today is, we talked last week about going to the rally
That we had.
the No Kings. What was the other sponsor?
There's a lot of sponsors. It's Indivisible is who we're signed up.
Yes.
Our group is signed up under. There were a lot of them that came together for the No Kings rallies.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we wanted to talk a little bit about that because it was quite the experience. I think we both enjoyed it a lot. And I'm going to let Shan go on this one because, you...
Yeah.
Shan, and I'm always so proud of what Shan does, but she was very instrumental in getting this organized for Alliance. Yes, she had some other ladies who helped her out. And
a lot of good help.
Yeah.
And men.
And men. They had like sign-making parties at her house.
Yeah, we did.
And so forth. But ultimately, her name was on it.
Yeah.
And I hope you talk a little about that you were telling me about how you felt about.
Yeah. So... Another piece of Sue and I swore when we first started our podcast we would not get political. And now we've done a few ranting about the current politics.
Yes.
The one thing we've talked about, though, it's hard to avoid politics in an aging society when we are looking at the possibility that they're going to cut Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid.
Of course.
It's all about us older people along with the young ones. It's affecting all of us. Yes, we've gotten a little political, and we're going to wrap up our rally wrap up.
Rally wrap up.
There you go.
Yeah.
And what we experienced with that. So it's political. Everything's political.
It really is.
It doesn't matter.
It really is. And from my point of view, too, is back to that I used to be somebody. When I think of, and all generations before us, but during the 60s, there was so much done to get these acts passed by those presidents.
Yes.
And everybody worked so hard on women's rights and civil rights and I know Social Security was before that, but still, we worked hard for this stuff, and it's all going away.
Yes.
And people are just sitting back going, oh.
Yeah, I listened to someone today, and one thing he said, and I agree, we were slow coming out of the gate.
Yes.
So we were. I think we were all shocked.
I know.
Because we honestly did not think that man could take away as many things as he took away
in a short amount
illegally
of time.
in the short amount of time that he did. So we were slow coming out of the gate. And now it's picking up speed and it's picking up intensity.
Yes.
More and more people are all about. This was for this current. I know that there's been some other rallies in our little old town here, but this has been the first one of this presidency, 2025. And so it's a new experience for me and for you as well.
Yes.
Doing this. I have so many things to say. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to start. The one thing I've heard a couple times now is what's happening right now in politics to our rights, to everyone's rights. It's like squeezing the toothpaste out of the tube. And there is no way to get that toothpaste back into that toothpaste tube.
Yeah.
There just isn't. It's expelled, and now we got to figure out what to do with what's happening in front of us. So anyway, there were, what you had said something about okay, that's what I want to do. I want to be part of a protest. And,
Yes.
And I did too. And so I had mentioned it to a couple of people. And before too long, there were just 5 of us that we started talking about this. And then everybody kind of sent out a word of mouth, and we had another meeting. And in that one, we had about 20 people at that one. Then we had our sign making.
Right.
So some people did their own signs. And the one thing we stressed was make 2 signs because somebody else will need one. So whatever you want to carry, make another one so we'll have it. And we came together to make signs, and we worked very hard for an hour and a half of just sign making, although through this whole process, the camaraderie and being able to talk to somebody has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Great feeling.
That was something with me standing down on the corner of 3rd and Box Butte. All those people coming together, and they were all pretty much saying the same thing. I am so glad I'm not the only one who feels like this.
Yes.
And what's the population of Alliance?
Oh, right now about 8,000.
8,000. Yeah. And you thought about how many showed up?
150.
150.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should have done some math because then I could have compared it.
Oh, yeah.
To
You could
the
have
big
had a
cities.
graph.
Oh, I could have.
Yeah, what the percentage of our population compared
And others,
to.
it's got to be good.
Yeah,
It was
because you
good.
saw the films from other places.
Unbelievable.
And
Unbelievable.
what was the final number?
Okay,
Nationwide?
the final number nationwide, over 5 million people
Wow.
in over 2,000 cities.
Cities, yes.
And
Yeah.
and of course, it was scheduled on purpose for that date because that was also the date of the big birthday parade in D.C. of all
Yes.
the Army, and it is the Army's 250th birthday, which is fantastic. And,
Yes.
and in no way were any of us putting down our military. We know we need them. We know what they've done.
That's right.
However, at that parade, which cost $45 million, and 250,000 people showed up.
Oh, my golly. Yeah.
And the march had 5 million.
Yeah.
5 million people.
Oh,
And his parade had 250.
yeah. Oh,
So
my golly.
that was huge. One thing that happened too, Indivisible, which I'm signed up with, purposefully said we will not have a No Kings March in Washington, D.C. The reason being is that it is the Army, and we should be respectful
Yes.
and allow them to show their stuff and have their time. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
There were huge protests in D.C.
Yeah.
for No Kings.
Oh,
Huge.
boy.
Huge ones. So the thought was there and the thought was good. But right now, I think there's such a huge number of people saying, but I want to march. I want to be there. I want to be a
Yes.
part of it.
Exactly.
I can't
Yeah.
let things keep going as they
Yes.
are.
Yeah.
So it was amazing. And so we've got this scheduled. We did some great things ahead of time, talking with the police chief here, and one of our group had probably 3 conversations with him, discussed it. I worked with the city just to let them know what we were going to do and what corner we were going to be on. There's a little park right on that corner,
Yeah.
so it works out really well. And so we kind of did some preliminary stuff in that way. So I felt real good about that. Then, of course, the situation in L.A. transpired. Here they were having a peaceful protest.
Yes.
Don't care what you all think. It was a peaceful protest
Yes.
until Trump sent in
Yes.
National Guard against that governor's response. He said, no, we've got it handled.
Yeah.
We do not need the National Guard. It is the governor of a state that can call up a National Guard, not the president of
Right.
the United States. So
And he's still sending
one more
troops.
check. Yeah.
Why?
then
I
he,
don't know.
Yeah, then he brought in Marines.
The Marines.
That's
yeah.
not their job. That is not their job.
No.
And I had listened to somebody talking about who had been at the L.A. and that protest, and he said, yeah, we had a couple knuckleheads. He called them knuckleheads.
Yeah.
And I thought, yep, everybody does.
Yeah.
That started whatever, to get rough or whatever.
Right.
You have knuckleheads. He said they were arrested right away because the police were there.
Yeah.
And what they were doing was not right, and so they arrested them. Things were fine until those went in. So we had that. right ahead of our rally that was part of the fear, because I did have
anxiety.
a fear.
Yes,
and
because
anxiety. Yeah.
we talked about it even that morning. I feel good about this. This is something I want to do, all of that. But there's this little bit of unknown.
Yes, of an unknown. Yeah.
And
I actually had quite a bit, though.
Did you?
Yeah, because we had that. And then, of course, the night before, our governor of the state of Nebraska called a state of emergency, which means he can call up the National Guard.
Right.
Because 15 cities in Nebraska were having a protest.
Wow.
15 cities.
And
15 cities.
we're a pretty red state.
We're a red state.
Very red state.
And he calls up BS.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
BS.
Yeah.
But he did. So then on Friday night, I had a phone call from a person from Indivisible.
Yeah, I was sitting at your
Right.
table.
And it made me feel good that I really was a part of them and they were a part of me, that they would take time. And they were calling every city in every state where the governor had called a state of emergency.
Wow.
And so he talked to me about what have you already got in place, and I'm telling him. And then he gave me some other tips. We also want you to do this. This is the phone number we want you to call. Have your police number there, but this is the other phone number. If something should be happening, please call us immediately on this phone number. And so that kind of added to the fear.
Yeah.
They were concerned too.
Yeah.
They're
'Cause I think
concerned.
at first we thought it's Alliance, Nebraska. What could possibly
Go
happen?
wrong. Exactly. So we had that. And then, of course, the shootings in Minnesota.
Oh, my God. And
on
that was
Saturday
that morning.
Yeah. Saturday
Before
morning.
we went down.
Yeah. On Saturday morning.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Of course, if people don't know, there was a state senator and her husband that were killed, and then a state senator and a state senator and his wife that have been shot. I read today he has undergone 9 surgeries.
Oh, my God. Wow.
She is in a little bit better position than he is. He does continue to get a little better, but if you've had 9, he was shot
9 times?
9 times,
That's
I
what
think
I
it
thought
was,
I
and
had
she
read.
was shot 8.
Oh, my God. And this guy had so many other people
Correct.
on his list.
He did, because he had to flee from the vehicle he had, and that's where they found all that identification.
Yeah.
So we had that. And then I had a friend that called me because she had a conversation with somebody in Minnesota, and she wouldn't be coming to the rally for a lot of reasons, but she just wanted to touch base and to say, happy you're doing this, be safe,
Yes.
be alert, be cautious, that kind of thing. So then, of course, we go downtown, and we went early because we wanted to make sure we had all of it. And at first, there's, like 6 of us, ages 65 and above.
Yes.
And I, at first, was a little disappointed, and I thought, oh, what the heck?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what if it's just 6 of us?
Yeah.
That's 6 more than we were going to have. And then people just kept coming.
Yes.
And coming and coming. And we went from the corner to the alley and probably 3 rows deep. Oh, gosh, darn
All
it.
different ages.
All different
There
ages.
were children there. And I this is for Leslie. Because Leslie's my science person, and she keeps us up to date on what's going on with all of that.
Yeah.
But there was this little girl, and I'm thinking 8, 10 maybe. And her sign was all about science. And all of the different departments that have been cut. And I thought, here's this little girl who that's probably her dream, is to do something in the field of science. And she's out there with her sign. And I think her brother, he was a couple years older, and his had to do with community is not force, that we're stronger because of our community.
Because of our community.
Yes. So that was...
I mean, we had someone there that came, the grandma brought her, and I believe she was 11 months young.
Yes.
And then another woman who may have been the oldest that we had there had talked to me before we started about she remembers as a child going to the movie theaters to see the newsreels.
Yes.
And it was all about Hitler taking over everything
Yes.
and killing people. And she said, I can't let that happen again. I'm not going to listen to that kind of news. It was, oh, wow. It was such a strong, uplifting.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
It was. And like when you, before we really got started, Shan made some announcements. And one of the most important things I think you said was that this is peaceful.
Yes.
Yes, we want to let our feelings be known, but in a peaceful, organized way. And the people were.
They were.
They really were. We had, and people driving by honking and thumbs up. And
yeah,
there was a couple times I think we had a different finger up.
Yes, we did have a different
as they
finger
went
up.
by. And that was that little girl I told you about with the signs poster. She turned around and she said, that guy was holding up that finger that you're not supposed to hold up. And we said, yeah, that wasn't very nice, was it? No, it wasn't.
And you think about that.
Yeah.
Would that person flip off his daughter or
Yes.
granddaughter?
Yeah.
Would he do that? And if so, you know what? I don't have any consideration for you.
I know.
If you're going to be that way.
Yeah.
We had one Trump flag go by in the back of a pickup.
Yeah.
We had one guy stick his MAGA hat out.
Oh.
Still don't know what it meant or if it meant anything, but the guy had Crocs and he was sticking those out the window and it was a flag. His
Oh.
Crocs were flags.
Okay.
I guess you can go either way.
Either way, because I was glad to see that too. Lots of American flags
Oh,
that
gosh.
we did.
Yes.
And because I'd been reading things on that. Why is it that recently we've been associating the flag with the Republican? No, it's MAGAs.
Yes.
MAGAs, yes. It was for everybody. So we had
I
lot
agree.
of flags down there.
That's one thing I hadn't really thought about at all.
I know, yeah.
And then when to see him was glorious.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
Yep.
Take back the flag. It was
Exactly.
like I was proud of the flag that day.
Yes.
Proud
very
of
much so.
the U.S. flag.
And we had the one young guy who that was his thing. He marched
Yes,
up and
he
down
did,
the
didn't
block. And we had one chanter.
Yes.
He was really trying to get. I'm not much of a chanter.
I know. Same.
I agreed with the things he was saying.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were just really enthused and yelling. And
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just not that person.
And I think we older people, it was a little bit tough. We did have a woman with her MAGA hat that came down and
Yes.
tried to talk with people, and great, open up that conversation. But that was really not the time, in my opinion, to be trying to have the conversation.
Yes.
We were there for one job, and we wanted to do the job we were there
Right.
for.
Yeah.
Invite yourself
And-
to a table, but don't stand in front of me
Yes. And
when I'm protesting.
the only interaction I had with her was the guy right next to me. His sign said, I support Medicare and Medicaid. And that's all the sign said.
Yeah.
And she started in on, why do you think it's a problem? Why do you, I don't know what she said for sure. But this poor guy she was engaging and getting the response she wanted. His voice started to go up. He was more emphatic with his words. And she just had this little smirky smile on her face. And so I had my sign and I just put it up in front of this young man and myself. And I said, don't engage.
Don't engage.
She's getting a rise out of you is exactly what she wants. And just don't. Just smile and let her go on. And she's on the other side of this sign and she says, what are you whispering about me now?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I am. Good for you.
You plant right in front of my face. Yeah, I'm going to whisper
right.
about you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was, but otherwise, we
no.
had no problems
No,
whatsoever.
None.
It got kind of warm.
Yeah, I
for
got
we
a little
old
bit
people,
of a sunburn.
and you
Poor
got a
me.
sunburn.
Yeah. But you had people had brought waters. You had waters
We
down
did.
there.
Cookies and
sunscreen.
And sunscreen. We had a lot of sunscreen. I thought we had a lot of signs made. And Mags, thanks so much. She was making signs as fast as she could.
Yeah.
And some people would come and they kind of wanted something a little bit different. And somebody, of course, came and said, could you do one about Minnesota?
Yes.
Prayers for Minnesota. So she did that. And there was a few others. And so we had about 5 minutes left. We had every kind of sign there. There were so many different signs. Maybe that always happens. I don't know. But it was like a multitude.
Yeah.
And we did start off the small group. We were all about, what are we for? We wanted to keep it as positive as possible. No Kings could have a little bit a negative connotation to
Yeah.
it. But hell,
I know.
it's negative times,
That's
baby.
right.
So,
That's
but anyway,
right.
so we had a lot of, we support
Everything.
FEMA and we
Yes.
Job Corps and just so
Yeah.
many different signs. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, you name anything that he has cut, and we had a sign for
We
it.
did.
Yeah.
That we did. Anything at all.
And with it being Pride Month, too, there were a couple
Yes.
of Pride signs that I was so glad to see. So, yeah, excuse me. You name it, we had a sign for
we
it.
did.
Yeah.
We did. So and police department made a great presence.
They did.
Drove by several times. At one point, he went ahead and parked across the street and just kind of watched
Kinda
it all go
watched.
by. And
Yeah.
so that was great. It was fun because we stand on. It's actually a highway that goes through Alliance, and so
Oh, true. I
there
didn't
were
even
a
think
lot
about
of like people with their
Yeah.
campers.
Uh-huh.
They were
Yeah.
obviously
Horse trailers,
going,
lots
horse
of horse
trailers,
trailers, yeah.
and they'd be honking.
Yeah.
That was so much fun. I can't believe how much the honking lifted us up.
Exactly.
Everybody
Because that's
just-
when all of a sudden, yay!
Yay, and
And
everybody's
we'd
going,
wave
yeah.
the signs a little higher. And so
Going-
that
going
was
crazy.
really good.
So, with about 5 minutes to the end of ours, I started going up and down the line just to say, thanks for being here.
Yes.
We've got about 5 minutes left in the rally. If you want to keep your sign, please do.
Uh-huh.
And if not, leave it. We're going to hold on to them. I don't know how many people, thank goodness, said to me, when are we doing this again?
They did.
When are we doing this
They
again?
did. And see you next time.
See you next time. Exactly. And there was a couple younger gals that were so thrilled because they could keep their signs.
Yes.
They were so excited. Fantastic.
Yeah.
We will definitely do it again.
Yes.
I have to do some reading on Indivisible because Indivisible had a meeting then on Monday. So the rally was Saturday. They had a Zoom meeting on Monday. I did not go to it. I hate to admit, but I did not go to it. We were a little busy with some other things, but I'm trying to see. Oh, here it is. The follow-up meeting had 60,000 callers.
Oh, my golly. Jeez.
60,000 callers.
Oh, God.
And
And what is Indivisible exactly before you go
Indivisible
on?
is an organization that has come about from what Trump is doing. And it is all about trying to get, I'm going to do a poor job of summarizing, but pushing for things to be done in a legal manner according to the Constitution.
Thank you.
That's what theirs is about.
Yes.
There's a lot of great organizations out there.
Yes, there are.
That have spurred just from Trump being in office, him being in office, some that has been there but have grown much bigger. I was going to write down, there's one that's really gotten strong enough. I'll find that. We need to post it. It has to do with immigration and what the rights are, what the laws are.
Oh, yeah.
And they, as soon as they get a call that somebody has been taken in illegally, 'cause they're illegal.
It is.
They're pulling him in illegally. There's no due process.
Yeah.
Some of them even had due process, walk out of the courtroom, and ICE takes them.
Oh, jeez.
That has happened so many times.
Oh, my.
There was another article I was reading where a man was here illegally. I don't know, Taiwan someplace. I don't know where he was from. So he's always gone to all of his scheduled meetings because he's working on that. And they said, you're going to need to go back to your country and we want you to buy an airline ticket and get back there and you have this long.
Oh.
He said, okay, we'll do it. So he and his wife have bought their ticket. They're to fly out like in a week down the road.
Okay.
The family wanted to have a goodbye kind of celebration for them. He had one more meeting with his immigration person.
Yeah.
He went to it. They arrested him.
Oh, my God.
He kept telling them, I have an airline ticket to
Yes.
return to my home country.
Yeah.
I have an airline ticket. They have arrested him, and they have not released him.
Oh, my God.
It's
yeah.
so wrong. So anyway,
Yeah.
one organization is all about getting somebody there so that they can at least try to track where these people end up. Even within the United States, they don't know what detention centers they're at.
Oh, my
because they move them so quickly.
Yeah.
They don't even know.
Oh, jeez.
Somebody in California, those people could already be in Texas
Yeah.
within that same night. They're just... Anyway, that's another organization that has sprung up from all of this that are doing really great things. Boy, some of this, I'm like, where am I going with all this? But anyway,
Yeah,
that was one thing.
yeah.
I want to kind of talk about, because I know that Tim was, when we got done and I got home, I started feeling really funky.
I know. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially the next day.
And
Yeah.
you did too.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
think I did one of my marathon 17-hour sleeps that night.
Wow.
And I'm sure it's
Just, the stress, the
yeah,
letdown.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that one thing was that I thought, oh, this solves all the problems.
I know it. Oh, certainly they'll listen to us.
They'll listen to us, 150 people strong out in the panhandle. I know that one was a part of my problem. Also thinking about, did it matter? What we did it matter? That was in my head.
Yeah.
I now feel a lot differently about that after seeing what everybody...
It mattered.
It mattered.
We were 150 of how many? 5 million people, you said?
5 million
yes.
people.
And then just to give us, those other people we talked to, that feeling of I'm doing something.
Yes.
And that's
Felt good.
the way you have to keep it in your head. Is it going to make a difference overnight? No.
Not overnight, but it's going to make a
It's
difference.
going
Yeah.
to. On down the road. I don't know what that difference is going to be. But just having the rest of the country know that, no, everything he says, we're not believing. We're not falling for this
Right.
crap. We're calling him out on his
Yes.
lies
Yeah.
and all of his people. No, we're not stupid.
Exactly.
The way, and didn't he call his voters stupid at one time?
Yeah, you sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that part.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, but I can see what you're thinking.
Yeah.
How you were thinking.
On that. And so it took me definitely probably through Sunday. Because at the same time, I know one of my other issues was, and you've mentioned, my name's out there now.
Yes.
I'm probably at the top of the list. There's other names.
Right.
Thank goodness for all of you that stand beside each and every one of us. And I needed to really face this again and think, if I'm committing to this, it could be a long haul.
Right.
And so I did really prayerfully, spiritually think that one through. And I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm here.
You're good
I'm
with that.
committed. I'm committed to it. I will be here for it. I'll help anybody in any way I
Yeah.
can with it. So that was the other thing. The other thing too is I've had to learn a lot about Facebook. I've posted
yeah.
more on Facebook in the last 2 weeks than I have in the 15 years that I've had Facebook. And I'm not a fan of negative social media because you and I know social media is wonderful for Mom. That's how she kept up with nieces and nephews, and she loved Facebook. It was a great connection for her as she aged. So there's some bad stuff with it, but in the long run, it does wonderful things. And I think that's what helped to get 150 people down on the corner.
Exactly.
Was the Facebook. And people reposting and sharing and all those beautiful things that we need you to do. Now I'm Facebook. I'm going to limit my Facebook.
Yes.
You and I have already talked about that, about like at our house after 7 p.m., we don't talk politics, we don't watch politics, we don't do Facebook because I couldn't sleep.
I know. It consumes our lives. Another thing that you had mentioned to me, too, about your feelings when it was all over, and we've talked about this a little bit, was with you having your name at the top of all that stuff, the feeling of responsibility for the safety of those people was huge, overwhelming.
It was.
That if one person got hurt,
it went
wonderfully, but you've always got that what if in the back of your head.
You do.
And
in a person of conscience should have that.
Exactly.
What if in their mind and in their heart, because it could happen.
I know.
And you got to be there. So yes, it was. That part was tough. It was tough because especially when we started seeing so many very young children there.
Yes. I know it.
Yeah, it was tough.
Yeah.
But here's the good thing that's happened this week. I don't know what has switched in my brain, but I have found for the last 4 days, I have read more news.
Yes.
And listened to more news and podcasts than I had been doing for a long time because I know I am not alone and we are on a roll. And I think that's why I've been able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I have been a little bit more too. And through this whole thing, I've gone in waves. where I try to read everything and all blah, 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 and then you get overwhelmed. So I pull back. Things are happening again quite quickly. I don't know.
Think
How
about it.
quickly?
This is June.
Oh, yeah. What was it? Yeah.
In fact, tomorrow's June 20th, so
Yeah.
that'll be 5 months.
5 months. That's it.
He's been in there 5 months.
Oh, my God.
5 months.
And everything that he has done.
In 5 months. The
Yeah.
things that he has undone
Yes.
that we
undone.
probably will not get back in our lifetime.
Yeah.
And maybe that's another piece of this too, Sue, is we know we got to do what we can to at least maybe get it back for our children and definitely for our grandchildren.
To get them enthused enough to.
And to have the rights back.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
What they've lost is ungodly.
It's so scary.
We had Mary and Patricia, thanks so much for the write-ups because they do great press release.
Uh-huh.
I did not see it in our weekly newsletter or newspaper today.
I know. I looked.
And the radio station denied it.
Really? Denied that it happened?
They wouldn't allow
Anybody to talk about it.
the press release that she sent after the rally. They wouldn't allow it.
Wasn't one of the photographers, though, from
the
that
newspaper,
paper?
but it
Yeah.
wasn't in there this week.
Yeah.
I sure didn't see it.
Oh,
So
my
maybe next week
golly.
we'll see it. He did an interview with me, so
Yeah.
and I know he took pictures and stuff, so I'm hoping we'll
And
still see it.
Why deny it again?
I
All
don't
we
know.
did, just find what was it, what happened, why'd you do it? Boom.
Boom.
We're not asking them to broadcast, okay, you need to be going along with these people. Not like
No, nothing.
Trump is doing.
No,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
it's news,
that's
folks.
quite
It really is
interesting.
news, but yeah, no, the
Oh,
local radio station denied it.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
So there we go. There was that part of it. Of course, thanks to flipping everybody that came out.
Oh, I know it.
Thanks.
And even when Tim was taking me home after it was all over, we drove by a house, and it had a sign in the window, and it said "Tax the Rich" or something.
Wow.
And I think she had sent. I think I saw a message somewhere that she was unable to come, but she said, "My sign's in my window, and I support everything that you did."
I love that.
Yes, I know.
I love that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
And it really was, because we knew exactly what she was talking about.
And today I listened to Stacey Abrams, and she said, "Start where you are and do what you know." That woman
Yeah.
knew that she could at least put a sign in her window. She was not able to come join us on the corner.
Yeah.
But she was going to do something.
That's right.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is great.
Oh,
So, yeah, and as soon as I read my emails from Indivisible, then I'll let everybody know when our next rally is.
yeah, because that was a big question. When's the next one? Want to be there.
Yeah. So Rachel Maddow, who I always enjoy listening to and or watching, and lately I've got to watch her because she comes on now on Monday nights on MSNBC because she posts so many rallies,
Yes.
pictures of them.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So even before the last Saturday,
Yes.
the one she would post different ones at different times in different places. Today she posted at least 80 different cities
Oh, my
and their
golly.
rallies.
Yeah.
And so one of them was in Atlanta,
Uh-huh.
and the Proud Boys showed up.
Oh.
And the police are standing in between the Proud Boys and the crowds that's there for No Kings. And she said, "Now you got to watch this. You got to watch this." And she's chuckling. There was a brass band, probably 5 or 6 people with tubas and bass horns, whatever that one's called,
Yeah.
and trumpets and everything else. And they started playing music, and they came in between. And so somebody was trying to lash out. And
Yeah.
boy, this guy, he just turns his trumpet and he's going, and it didn't matter if they were on his side or the other side. They kept playing.
Yeah. Oh.
And you watch and you keep watching. And at some point, all of the people, both sides, start to smile.
Oh, gee.
And at one point, there's some Proud Boys that start clapping to the music.
Oh, my golly.
Music.
Yeah.
Is that
music. Oh.
music is coming together.
Yeah.
Is the
yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
Coming together is
Yeah.
the answer.
And I think that, too, was one of your takeaways.
One of
talking
my
about,
my big takeaway.
is
Yeah.
that somehow, and Leslie, I'm going to have to ask you about this one again. There's a group that she's been involved with, and it's something angels. And I always forget the other part of it. But it's the two separate sides actually meeting up, and I'm sure they do it either through text or something, but
Right.
with very different views, just to listen to the other person's view. And like you were saying in different
come to
times,
the table.
we've got to come together
Yeah, we do.
and start talking about this, because right now I think it's pretty much a
It's
we
against
them. Yeah.
it is. And I know it's going to take a lot of work for me to do that.
Yeah. Oh, me
And
too.
so I'm hoping that just realizing it will be the first step for me getting
Yes.
better at listening to the other side
Right.
or other opinions.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
kind of thing. I know that putting my name out there as I did, I have a lot of friends that do not feel the way I do.
Yeah.
And yet they're still talking to me. So I've got to be the same
Uh-huh.
and continue to talk to, which I
Right.
have all along. But
Yeah.
continue to talk to any friend, neighbor, relative, whatever. I have to keep talking to them. That's the
Yeah.
only way we can
I know it.
fix this mess.
I know it.
It's the only way
Yeah.
we can.
And truly show that united
Mm-hmm.
front.
Right.
Yeah.
I had this because I read this, or this was on Rachel. Florida in Brevard County, sheriff said, "We will kill you if you come out and protest."
Oh my God.
And they still did. Still did.
Yeah.
I don't want to end on a low point, but it's a strong beginning.
Yes, I think so too.
And I feel damn good.
Yeah, I do
really
too.
do.
I'm still so glad that we did it, and I'm ready to do it again.
And we'll do it again. We'll do it again.
Yeah.
And again, like you said, this is peaceful protests.
It
We
is.
are not in any
Yes.
way violent.
Yes,
We are
people,
nonviolent.
please, if you don't hear anything else, hear that.
Yes.
And that across the nation, there might have been, I want to say 99.5 whatever or more, completely, totally positive, nonviolent,
Yes.
people just talking.
Just expressing their
Expressing their beliefs,
their wants,
yes.
their desires, what they're
Which
for.
is our right. And we've got to keep doing it to preserve that right.
Yes.
Like you said, for us, for our children, for our grandchildren.
Yes. And that we've got to continue to realize that we're doing this for the future.
Yes.
It's not about, this is hard, what he has done.
Right.
We have to come together to talk about now what can we do
Right.
to fix these broken things.
Yeah.
broken. So, Alliance, we will come together again. I can darn well guarantee you. And
Oh, yeah.
it'll be sometime in July, about the middle of July is,
Uh-huh.
I think, what I saw. So, middle of July, we
Yes.
will come together.
And we'll get the word out so even our 150 can become 300.
There you go. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think we'd have to spill back more into that little park and maybe
Yeah.
up and down the street a little bit more.
I know.
Did you have to have a written permit for this?
No,
You
no,
didn't.
uh-uh.
Okay.
No, it was just more of a courtesy to say that we were
Sure.
going to be using that park
Okay.
more than anything. We weren't selling anything.
Right.
We didn't have food vendors, any of that kind of stuff.
Huh.
No, it was just
Okay.
just to allow the city. And then the woman that I worked with, she sent out a message to all the department heads so that they would know that's what we were doing and
Nice.
whatnot. Yeah.
Nice. Very
yeah.
good.
We had a couple people that went through and picked up all the trash, although,
Oh, yeah.
you know what? There wasn't any from us.
There wasn't.
There was some other trash that
Yeah.
they went ahead and picked up. It wasn't from
I
us.
know. You had all those trash bags down there, and I
Yeah.
bet there were 2 or 3 maybe. And those were like plastic cups from the water
from
and
the
water
water.
bottles.
Yes.
There was no mess after
was
we were
not.
done.
It was a great time.
It was. Oh, my
Yes.
golly.
So wait, where are we going next? Are we going to talk about the fact that we've gone over the same number of episodes in season 2 as what we had in season 1?
I know. Actually, we're at season, 2.4?
Yeah, we are. Who's
So,
counting? We're
yeah.
having fun. What do we know?
That's right.
So in a couple of weeks, we're going to close out the second season and get ready for our third season.
Right.
We'll be doing that. Yeah. What's your takeaway?
Oh, my golly. I think just that I was so happy to be a part of it. And that I just encourage anybody who's holding back, who's wondering, should I not? And yeah, I do understand that some people, that's just not their thing. Like, I'm not a chanter.
Right.
They're not a stand on a corner and hold a sign kind of person. But just be there with your heart and your mind and speak up.
Speak up. Absolutely.
Rise up.
Rise up.
Rise
there you
up.
go. I
Yeah.
heard that song, actually.
Did you? Oh,
Yes.
good.
So, yeah, my takeaway, we have to come together. We cannot allow this hatred to
Yes.
continue and to fester. We've got to come together.
I know.
That's my takeaway.
Yeah, have to come to some kind of understanding. So,
Right, exactly. You know, after all of that, if you want to let us know, or if you marched in your hometown, please
I
send
would
us
love to hear it.
I would too.
Yeah.
Send us an email.
yeah, or a picture.
There you go. If you haven't already sent it to Rachel Maddow,
Yeah.
send it to us
Yes,
too, and to
yes.
her. So anyway, you can always get a hold of us at unavoidableaging@gmail.com. And again, that's unavoidableaging@gmail.com. You can listen to us in so many different places. We upload to Podbean. We're also on many of the podcast apps, Apple Podcasts, Podcast Addict, Spotify, YouTube, you name it. Just type in Unavoidable Adventures in Aging. Don't forget while you're there to like, subscribe, follow, and share us with your friends and family.
Yes, do all of those things.
All of it.
And in addition to those things, enjoy your life. Laugh at yourself and always remember you're not knucking futz. You're just aging.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody. Ready for the heat wave here.
Oh, man, no kidding.